London, December 25, 2025. A day that was supposed to be calm, reflective, and full of royal tradition. But instead, the British monarchy found itself in total chaos after a shocking Christmas twist rocked Buckingham Palace. Just 2 days before Christmas, on December 23rd, Prince Harry reportedly sent a personal and formal letter straight to the palace. And this wasn't your average family message. The document was packed with bold statements and eyebrow-raising financial requests that insiders are calling one of the most daring royal moves ever seen. The tone, timing, and delivery all screamed that this wasn't about family peace. It was about something much bigger. According to 2 reliable palace insiders, the confidential letter, signed Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex, was hand-delivered to King Charles III's private office at Sandringham. And here's where it gets wild. It arrived just hours after the Sussexes' controversial Christmas special dropped in the UK. To many royal staffers, the timing looked way too perfect, almost like a move planned to stir up attention and headlines at the worst possible moment. Palace aides were reportedly stunned by what they read and rushed the letter straight to the King and the Prince of Wales. One royal insider told the Clarion that it wasn't just a case of being out of touch, it was strategic, ambitious, and clearly calculated. The letter spelled it out. Harry and Meghan weren't coming back for forgiveness or family peace. They wanted compensation. Everyone at Sandringham was said to be floored by the sheer boldness of the message. The requests in that letter, according to sources, reopened financial discussions that were thought to be long settled. It was reportedly written under legal advice and polished by a PR team from Montecito, asking for annual financial support equivalent to their previous royal funding, but adjusted for inflation since 2020. The timing and the tone made it clear this was a royal moment like no other. The demands didn't stop there. The letter reportedly asked for the restoration of Frogmore Cottage or a similar UK residence, fully covered by the Crown estate. On top of that, Meghan Markle allegedly wanted her access reinstated to the Queen Mary's bandeau tiara for major international events, calling it a matter of tradition, continuity, and recognition. But that's not all. The Sussexes also requested a yearly child well-being grant of £5 million for Archie and Lilibet, along with the right to permanently keep certain royal jewelry pieces that had once been loaned for public occasions. They justified it by saying those items carried deep emotional and symbolic value. The letter presented these demands as steps toward mutual respect between both sides, referencing Meghan's emotional struggles, the constant pressure of the media spotlight, and the financial strain of maintaining their public image, brand identity, and family security while living in Montecito. Every line of it seemed carefully crafted to hit emotional and financial notes all at once. To insiders, the timing of it all, landing just 2 days before the royal family's traditional Christmas luncheon at Sandringham, felt like no coincidence. It seemed like a move designed to spark a strong emotional reaction from King Charles, who is currently managing health challenges, and Prince William, who's said to have grown much firmer in his stance toward the Sussex situation after months of private family tension. The palace atmosphere reportedly turned ice cold the moment the letter was read. Sources close to the royal circle were in full agreement. Meghan was the driving force behind the document. Even though Harry's signature appeared at the bottom, the polished tone, tight structure, and emotional wording carried her unmistakable media touch. One former palace aide who worked with Harry before 2020 told reporters, "Harry doesn't talk like that." Many observers saw the letter not as a heartfelt plea for reconciliation, but something closer to a high-stakes negotiation, more about securing terms than rebuilding trust. Meanwhile, Netflix's With Love Meghan holiday special, meant to reintroduce the Sussexes as lifestyle icons, didn't land the way they hoped. The show faced heavy criticism across both the UK and the US, with viewers calling it awkward, overly polished, and far from genuine. One moment in particular went viral, a scene where Meghan calmly thanks Harry for stepping into the kitchen, sparking endless online chatter about whether their chemistry was authentic or just for the cameras. But the biggest shock came when fans noticed something truly strange. The show included clips of their late dog, Guy, who sadly passed away in early 2024, appearing alive and healthy on screen. Royal media analyst Tom Sykes didn't hold back, describing it as a massive timeline slip-up that made the entire Christmas special look staged. The mistake fueled even more doubts about how authentic the production really was, and social media quickly lit up with speculation. Against this backdrop of media backlash, Harry's Christmas letter hit Buckingham Palace like a spark in a room full of dry tinder. Palace officials were stunned by the timing and intensity of the message, especially given how tense things already were behind the scenes. By midday on December 24th, King Charles reportedly gathered senior advisors at Sandringham, including Prince William and Princess Anne, for a closed-door meeting to decide how to respond. According to insiders, the atmosphere was calm but serious. After years of keeping quiet about the Sussex situation, the royal team decided it was time to draw a firm line. King Charles is said to have authorized a new internal policy: no more direct communication with the Sussex household. Every request outlined in the letter was formally declined. This moment marked a historic turning point, the first official cutoff of direct ties between the monarch and his younger son. Prince William's private reaction was described as absolutely freezing. According to one insider, he warned his team that offering even the smallest concession could set a dangerous example and seriously weaken the royal family's credibility. Princess Anne, often seen as the family's moral anchor and guardian of tradition, reportedly backed the king's firm stance. Her words were said to be sharp and clear. No one, no matter how close to the throne, should treat royal service like a bargaining chip. The treasures of our heritage are not tools for negotiation. Rumors suggest Princess Anne's statement could be released publicly early in the new year, a strong reminder of the long-standing palace principle that duty must come before privilege. As one royal insider put it, Harry and Meghan chose to walk away from royal duties, and they can't now demand the rewards of that life without the responsibility that comes with it. Meanwhile, the tension stretching from California to Norfolk painted a dramatic picture. Meghan's Montecito lifestyle brand has reportedly been struggling to regain momentum, while Harry is said to feel increasingly uneasy about facing his father directly. Add to that the king's ongoing health recovery, the backlash from the Netflix holiday special, and those leaked legal-style documents circulating through London, and it's no surprise that royal watchers are calling this one of the most tense Christmases in modern royal history. Despite the miles between them, many observers believe Harry and Meghan are aligning closer than ever in strategy, using media, legal tactics, and emotional appeals to re-enter the royal story. But the palace's message couldn't be clearer. Respect and access must be earned, not demanded. Buried between the requests for child funding and jewelry access was a demand that left even longtime royal watchers stunned. The Sussexes reportedly asked for the full restoration of their residential rights to Frogmore Cottage, the 5-bedroom Grade 2 listed property in Windsor they had vacated back in mid-2023. This wasn't just any house. Frogmore has long symbolized the ups and downs of Harry and Meghan's relationship with the royal institution. Originally gifted to them by Queen Elizabeth II after their 2018 wedding, the cottage underwent major renovations costing around £2.4 million, initially covered by public funds through the sovereign grant. That renovation became a flashpoint for public criticism, and the tension only grew when Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties in early 2020, but later requested to keep Frogmore as their UK base in 2021. Amid growing controversy, the Sussexes agreed to repay the full renovation cost, but the gesture didn't erase the lasting debate. The cottage became a kind of royal mirror. To some, it represented a chance for reconciliation, but to others, it looked like a lingering symbol of privilege without accountability. Things came to a head in June 2023 when the couple received an official eviction notice shortly after the circulation of Prince Harry's unreleased draft memoir, rumored to contain sharp commentary about unnamed senior royals. Buckingham Palace didn't respond with a public statement. They simply changed the locks. It was a clear message. The chapter on Frogmore was closed. But now, in December 2025, Harry and Meghan are reportedly asking the Crown to reinstate their right to live there once again. Their letter described Frogmore as a secure, symbolic, and dignified home where their children could connect with their heritage. Palace insiders say this request, buried deep in the document, hit a nerve, not just because of what it asked for, but because of what it represented. But according to Palace insiders, the timing and tone of this request suggests something much deeper than simple nostalgia. One senior Windsor Castle staffer told the Clarion, "This isn't about sentiment, it's about re-establishing presence on royal soil, physically, legally, and emotionally." Think of it as trying to reclaim space at the heart of the monarchy itself. The staffer explained that if the request were approved, it could effectively allow the Sussexes to present themselves as active royal residents again, something that could later support any public claims of being left out or treated unfairly. This wasn't just about a house, it was about influence, image, and the story being told to the world. Frogmore, in this sense, represented more than bricks and mortar. It was a piece of royal history wrapped in symbolism, power, and public perception. Approving such a move, insiders warned, could quietly reopen channels related to official security funding, media privileges, and even symbolic nearness to the throne, all of which had been firmly closed off since 2020. Frogmore Cottage isn't just real estate, it's a strategic position in the royal narrative, a literal and figurative foothold on royal territory. Within palace circles, this view has sparked intense debate over what it would mean if the Sussexes returned to that space. According to the December 23 document signed by Harry, the request even included a detailed annex outlining Frogmore's vital role in connecting his family's independent life in America with their British roots. The plan proposed a twice-yearly residency schedule, requested Crown estate-funded maintenance to preserve royal dignity, and even listed specific dates for their intended visits, including Easter, Trooping the Color, and remembrance events. Every detail made it clear this wasn't just a housing request, it was a statement of intent. A major part of the letter that caught everyone's attention was the demand to reinstate royal-level security services at the Windsor grounds, protections that had been withdrawn back in 2020 and after a full legal review in 2021 were considered completely non-negotiable. The annex ended with an emotionally charged line, "My children deserve the right to walk where I once walked under the flag of our family, not as visitors, but as heirs." For many inside the palace, that final sentence set off alarms. One royal protocol officer told the Clarion, "Harry's made it clear. He wants the legacy and recognition of royal life without carrying the duties that come with it." The phrasing of the letter, especially that last emotional appeal, was seen as both strategic and deeply symbolic. a subtle push to reframe public perception of the Sussexes' place within the royal institution. By the evening of December 24, 2025, palace aides confirmed that King Charles had personally reviewed the Frogmore section and swiftly dismissed it with the calm but firm response, "That chapter has closed." He reportedly added, "They chose another path. So be it." After that, royal security teams were quietly instructed to tighten digital monitoring and ensure there was no unauthorized access to Frogmore through staff, service providers, or sympathetic intermediaries. The message inside palace walls was clear. The property was to remain secure and untouched. A royal operations consultant later told the Clarion that Frogmore is now officially categorized as a high-security archive rather than an active residence. Legally, any attempt to reoccupy or symbolically claim it without formal approval could lead to an official breach notice, making occupation unlawful. "The Crown's position couldn't be clearer," said one senior aide. "You can't step away from royal duties and still expect to keep the perks." Analysts suggest the Frogmore demand was never truly about living in Windsor again. Instead, they believe it was about building a paper trail, a documented moment of refusal that could later be referenced in interviews, future productions, or even memoirs. Picture this: Meghan during a future podcast saying, "We just wanted a small home in Britain so our children could know their roots, and they said no." That single statement would instantly reshape the narrative. One royal media advisor told the Clarion, "The brilliance of the request wasn't in expecting approval, it was in knowing the denial itself could be turned into a story of exclusion and rejection. It's a move designed to win sympathy and keep public attention burning." But this time, the palace seems ready to write its own version of events. According to insiders, a private holiday message was circulated among senior staff and family members shortly after the letter surfaced. Princess Anne reportedly authored a powerful line that struck right at the heart of the issue. "Legacy is not a luxury villa you rent twice a year. It's a lifetime of service, done quietly, without spectacle. Let's not be distracted by those who chose another path." Her message was seen as both a reflection of royal discipline and a pointed reminder of what truly defines royal duty. When Prince Harry's December 23 letter first arrived at Sandringham, it wasn't the financial requests that caused the biggest stir. It was the return to a certain symbol of entitlement, one that glittered with history and controversy: the Queen Mary's bandeau tiara. This was the same tiara Meghan Markle wore on her wedding day in 2018, a treasured piece of royal heritage deeply tied to Queen Mary and later to Queen Elizabeth II's legacy. Back then, it was chosen after considerable discussion, making it one of the most talked about accessories in modern royal history. Now, in 2025, Meghan is said to be seeking permission to wear the tiara again, not for royal duties, but for international cultural events and women's empowerment galas connected to her Montecito-based foundation. Royal insiders were reportedly stunned by the boldness of that request. One palace historian who manages ceremonial regalia told the Clarion, "That's like asking to borrow the crown jewels for a keynote speech. These are national treasures, not personal accessories." The request reportedly appeared in a supplemental section of Harry's Christmas letter, formally asking that Meghan be granted permanent ceremonial access to the Queen Mary's bandeau tiara, framing it as a symbolic bridge between traditional authority and modern advocacy. The proposal even suggested that allowing this gesture would show how the monarchy could evolve with the times. But for many inside the palace, the idea was simply too much. The appendix of Harry's letter didn't stop with the tiara. It went even further. Meghan reportedly requested permission to borrow additional royal jewelry, including the diamond earrings she wore during the 2018 Australia tour. Even more striking, the document asked for a formal acknowledgement from the Crown that would allow her to publicly reference the tiara as royally endowed in interviews and press materials. Her reasoning, as described in the letter, centered on emotional and symbolic impact. Meghan wrote that being required to return all borrowed royal pieces in 2021 had caused her deep emotional distress, arguing that continued denial would harm her public identity, especially her foundation's message of cultural continuity. The wording sounded heartfelt, but palace observers said the underlying motive was clear. In the world of public image, royal jewels equal validation. And with the Sussexes' Hollywood projects losing momentum, that kind of symbolism carries serious weight. According to palace sources, when King Charles read through the section about the tiara and jewelry requests, he didn't say a single word. He quietly handed the papers to Princess Anne, whose reaction was described as instant and icy. One insider recalled her exact response: "You do not request the vault, you serve it. That's the contract." Princess Anne, who has long overseen matters of ceremonial inheritance and the preservation of royal artifacts, immediately called in Sir Hugh Munro, the keeper of the royal collection. Together, they drafted an official statement for internal circulation within the royal household. It read, "The Queen Mary's bandeau is a national heirloom and trusted to the reigning sovereign. It shall not be allocated for private or non-official purposes." The statement went on to make things absolutely clear. Meghan Markle's previous use of the tiara did not create any ongoing rights or symbolic claims, particularly after her and Harry's decision to formally step back from royal duties in 2020. One senior courtier summed it up bluntly but professionally. "This isn't a pageant crown. You borrow it, you return it. That's how it works." The Queen Mary's bandeau tiara carries more history than most people realize. Commissioned in 1932 to hold a diamond brooch first given as a wedding gift in 1893, it had not been worn publicly for decades before Meghan's now famous 2018 wedding day selection. But behind the scenes, that choice had already stirred quiet tension within palace walls. Sources say Meghan had originally requested an emerald-encrusted tiara, but the late queen declined the request, citing questions about the origins of the piece. That early disagreement quietly set the tone for what many described as a subtle strain between Meghan and the queen's inner circle. So when, years later, Meghan requested to wear the tiara again during what analysts call a personal rebranding moment, it was viewed by many inside the palace as more than tone-deaf. It was seen as deeply disrespectful to both the institution and the late Queen's legacy. One former Lady of Waiting told the Clarion, "If Her Majesty were still with us, she would have simply said, 'No,' and that's final." Within royal tradition, jewels are far more than decoration. They are living symbols of loyalty, lineage, and earned service. Even active royal women like Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, or young Princess Charlotte during rare formal occasions must follow strict protocols when it comes to borrowing pieces from the vault. For Meghan to ask for ongoing access to a tiara she wore once after formally stepping away from royal duties crossed a serious line in palace etiquette. This wasn't about style or sparkle, explained one senior royal communications officer. It was about reclaiming a legacy she willingly stepped away from and attempting to attach it to her public image. Inside the palace, many viewed it as an attempt to blend royal heritage with modern branding, something that simply doesn't align with how the crown operates. Although it was Princess Anne who issued the official reply to the request, royal insiders say Prince William delivered the emotional response behind closed doors. He reportedly urged the king to deny the request outright, not just on procedural grounds, but as a matter of principle. Many royal insiders believe this was one of the turning points that led directly to the December 24 royal declaration, the firm decision to end all active communication with the Sussexes. By Christmas morning 2025, the Queen Mary's bandeau tiara remained locked securely inside the Windsor Castle vault, catalogued and untouched, while senior palace staff carefully reviewed every single line of Prince Harry's now notorious Christmas letter. But as they read on, one particular section stopped everyone cold, a clause so unexpected that even the most seasoned aides reportedly went silent. Hidden within the lengthy document was a formal request for what was described as a child well-being provision, an annual fund of £5 million for Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor. The letter presented it as a protective and reparative measure meant to offset the loss of royal positioning, inherited duties, and public identity. Palace sources said the proposal was unlike anything seen in modern royal history, both in scale and in tone, leaving those present at Sandringham completely speechless.
According to insiders, the letter outlined a detailed 5-point financial plan labeled Generational Equity Support. It proposed an allocation of £2.5 million per child each year, divided into quarterly payments. The plan also called for the creation of a formal education endowment trust based in the UK to be jointly managed by royal appointees and the Sussex Foundation. Additionally, it included yearly travel grants for what were described as heritage visits, trips meant to help the children maintain emotional and cultural continuity with their British roots. And it didn't stop there. The proposal even suggested that Archie and Lilibet should receive occasional inclusion in royal family media and public communications, but only when it aligned with their family's philanthropic image. Palace officials were stunned by how detailed and how bold the request was. One royal household source put it simply, "This wasn't about child welfare. It was about positioning." The wording read less like a family appeal and more like a corporate strategy. In essence, Harry and Meghan's proposal appeared to outline a privately financed parallel version of royal life for their children, one that remained connected to the monarchy in name, but operated completely on their own terms. One senior courtier described it as a carefully worded attempt to create royal status without royal duty. The letter claimed that Archie and Lilibet had faced identity displacement as a result of losing official protection, being denied access to royal heritage spaces, and enduring constant public attention in California. Meghan reportedly described the situation as an emotional exile forced upon innocent children. But within the palace, the reaction was far more skeptical. Senior aides viewed the emotional appeal as a strategic move, a well-constructed narrative meant to generate sympathy while subtly reattaching the Sussexes to the royal institution. One insider called it a guilt-laced PR maneuver aimed at turning legacy into leverage. The feeling was clear. This wasn't just about family concern. It was about reshaping public perception and reclaiming royal relevance through the lens of compassion and media attention. According to several sources at Sandringham, King Charles personally reviewed this section of the letter, despite managing ongoing health challenges, and made his position unmistakable. In the margin, he reportedly wrote just 3 words: "No, not constitutional." A close family friend later explained the king's reasoning, quoting him as saying, "If they seek inheritance, they must also inherit duty. There can be no entitlement without service." For a monarch long known for his measured approach and desire for unity, this was a defining moment, a clear moral boundary drawn not just for Harry's children, but for the integrity of the entire Windsor line. In private discussions with Prince William, King Charles reportedly added, "To fund privilege without responsibility would turn the monarchy into performance, and that I will never allow." Once again, Princess Anne stepped forward to ensure the institution's principles were protected. After reviewing the so-called generational equity clause, she instructed the Privy Council office to issue a confidential advisory reaffirming long-standing royal policy. Individuals who are not active members of the working royal family and their descendants are not eligible for any form of sovereign financial support, public or private. Princess Anne's handwritten margin note reportedly captured the royal family's stance with sharp precision. Royalty is not a birthright, it's a contract, and they chose to end it. That single line has since become a powerful internal reference point, effectively setting a precedent to block any future claims of royal inheritance based on emotion rather than service. From a strategic point of view, royal analysts widely agree that the so-called child allowance proposal was never truly about money. It was about narrative and perception, the optics of being refused. Veteran royal commentator Georgina Hargrave explained it bluntly. They knew it would be rejected. The real goal was to create a storyline of exclusion, two children denied care and recognition by their grandfather. In the fast-paced world of amateur media, where stories of family conflict, generational struggles, and denied privilege often go viral, the setup was almost cinematic. And sure enough, leaks about the palace's rejection began spreading through U.S. celebrity news circles by the evening of December 24th, even before Buckingham Palace had finalized its official embargoed statement. The timing suggested someone within the Sussex camp wanted the denial to become the story itself. A source close to the couple reportedly told a Los Angeles producer, "They asked for support, not charity. If the royals won't protect their own family, what message does that send?" Palace insiders, however, saw the statement for what it was, a carefully designed line made for headlines, not a genuine plea for reconciliation. The tone, they said, felt more like scripted media strategy than heartfelt outreach. Behind the polished public calm, Prince William's frustration was said to be unmistakable. According to multiple sources, he maintained composure in front of staff, but spoke frankly in private. During a tense exchange with King Charles on the night of December 23rd, he reportedly said, "You don't rebuild trust through ultimatums." William's stance was firm and unwavering. No royal privileges, no financial allowances, and no symbolic re-entry into royal life without genuine service and accountability. Prince William reportedly made his feelings crystal clear during private discussions, stating that using Archie and Lilibet as emotional leverage wasn't just inappropriate, it was, in his words, a moral failure, not a parenting strategy. He warned that giving in to such demands could unravel one of the monarchy's oldest guiding principles: service comes first, benefits come second. Allowing exceptions, he cautioned, could open the door for other distant branches of the royal family to make similar claims. By the morning of December 24, 2025, William had already acted quietly and decisively. He instructed Kensington Palace staff to remove all references to the Sussex children from public-facing royal education initiatives first launched in 2020, a subtle but powerful step that ensured, as one aide put it, no confusion by association. Within the palace, this was seen as both a protective measure and a public statement. The crown was drawing a line, and this time it wouldn't blur. Senior aides later confirmed that the £5 million child well-being proposal wasn't just about finances. It was a direct test of how the monarchy defines legacy, duty, and responsibility. King Charles's refusal, they said, was not born of anger, but of conviction. By rejecting the proposal, he reaffirmed a foundational rule. Royal standing isn't something inherited like property. It must be earned through service. That principle, firmly held since the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, remained intact as of Christmas 2025. But while the palace remained steady, the outside world was swirling with leaks, podcasts, and endless speculation.
Rumors of upcoming memoirs and interviews began spreading fast, with commentators predicting that this royal standoff was far from finished. Then, at exactly 10 a.m. on December 25, 2025, as most of Britain was unwrapping presents and preparing for Christmas lunch, a sealed envelope left Sandringham House under tight security and was hand-delivered to the Privy Council office in London. Inside was a single-page royal declaration that would officially end all ongoing negotiations with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The document was firm, final, and written in unmistakable language. Henceforth, no royal residence, benefit, security protocol, or ceremonial access shall be granted or restored. All previous entitlements are considered concluded through voluntary withdrawal of royal duty. It was signed personally by His Majesty King Charles III, and beneath his name, a second signature, William, Prince of Wales. In that single moment, a quiet but unshakable boundary was drawn, a generational decision that the monarchy would no longer engage with the Sussexes' financial requests, symbolic appeals, or emotional arguments. Palace aides later revealed that this defining choice wasn't made impulsively. It was the result of a late-night Christmas Eve meeting between King Charles and Prince William inside the king's private study at Sandringham. The meeting lasted nearly 2 hours, a tense and strategic conversation that would ultimately reshape the royal family's internal dynamics. According to insiders, King Charles initially hesitated to take such a firm stance. He reportedly worried that going too far might trigger more leaks, intensify the family divide, or fuel another wave of global controversy. But Prince William came prepared. He presented his father with a detailed strategy document that had been quietly developed for months. It outlined every potential risk tied to reopening communication with the Sussexes, from media manipulation to public pressure, and included polling data showing declining sympathy for Harry and Meghan in both the UK and the US. The memo also warned of what it called escalating attempts to commercialize royal association, describing how future re-engagement could blur boundaries and invite ongoing demands. One aide who witnessed the meeting said William's message to his father was crystal clear. This isn't about two individuals, it's about protecting the future of the institution. If we yield once, we unravel everything. The room reportedly went silent. King Charles sat back, deep in thought, before nodding once and replying softly, "Very well, draft it." From that moment, the decision was final. By dawn, the royal decree had been written, reviewed, and approved by Lord Chamberlain Andrew Parker, then sent for formal registry under tight confidentiality. This document would go down in royal history, the first in decades to be co-signed by both the reigning monarch and the heir to the throne, on a matter concerning internal family boundaries. The wording of the royal declaration was calm yet firm, professional in tone, but unmistakably decisive. It avoided emotional or personal language, instead setting out a clear constitutional boundary. The message was unmistakable. The Sussexes' requests simply could not coexist with the structure and principles of a constitutional monarchy. Among the most striking lines were, "No individual may claim entitlements once voluntarily withdrawn unless formally reinstated by the sovereign. Crown property, regalia, and ceremonial participation are reserved exclusively for those actively serving the realm. Any informal or commercial use of royal identity shall be regarded as a breach of dignity." The phrasing left no misinterpretation. The rules of the crown were absolute. Though never released publicly, the declaration was discreetly circulated across all key royal offices: Clarence House, Kensington Palace, and the Windsor Estate. to ensure complete procedural alignment. A senior official later confirmed that any future letters or requests from Harry or Meghan would now be redirected to the monarchy's Legal Affairs Division, bypassing direct royal correspondence entirely. The door isn't slammed or locked, but it's no longer open in the same way. Not to this house. If King Charles was the visible face of the decree, William was undoubtedly its driving force, the backbone ensuring the system behind the scenes ran with precision, professionalism, and no hesitation. Palace insiders have since observed the Prince of Wales' growing influence in royal operations, noting how he stepped beyond the role of heir to become a stabilizing hand during turbulent times. One senior aide remarked, "William made it clear from the start, this wasn't personal. It was about safeguarding the integrity of the crown." From early November, when the Sussex demands first began leaking into the press, William had been advocating for a firm, respectful, but final cutoff. He believed that allowing repeated emotional or symbolic appeals would only weaken royal authority and blur the lines of responsibility. The prince reportedly expressed concern that continued flexibility could be misconstrued, and that Meghan, in particular, might use ongoing family dynamics or public sympathy to reshape the narrative for personal or professional advantage. And with that, the era of royal negotiation quietly ended, replaced by resolve, protocol, and the unshakable preservation of the monarchy's dignity. If you've been following this royal saga, what do you think about this final move by the palace? Was it justified or too harsh? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive breakdowns of what really happens behind royal walls.